All right, there's Chris. So I've known Chris for a long time. His dad and I used to play some pickup ball together. We had some good times, and man, he's a pretty good ball player. We play together. We play old man ball. Okay, we don't jump anymore. You just run and hope for the best. But we were playing together. So when Chris came in, even before he actually stepped on the court, and I'd never seen him play. The thing that I said was his dad's basketball IQ is so high. If he's anything like his dad, he's going to be a really good player for us. And Chris, it was really fun to be able to watch you grow and develop this year. And I'll tell you too, after the Chelsea loss, so Chris had a couple turnovers down the stretch, and as we're going through the locker room, he's trying to blame himself. Man, I messed up. I turned the ball over, and I told Chris, I said, listen, it wasn't that moment that lost us the game. It's just a combination of a lot of things. And so I told him, don't take that monkey on your back, right? We win as a team, and we lose as a team. So Chris, I want to tell you, I appreciate you, and it's been fun coaching. I'm looking forward to next year. Ben, so I have a good buddy that does some basketball training, and he called me even before tryouts, and he said, man, you got this kid coming in named Ben. He's a straight dog. Moms, that means that they're good. He said he's a straight dog. And man, I will tell you, tough as nails. This summer when Chris was out with, I think he might have had the stomach bug or the flu or something, and Ben was able to step up and he was able to lead us this summer. And then just going through the season, like, man, he's like this all the time, right? He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. And I really appreciate that. It's been fun coaching, and I look forward to getting to work with you again next year. Where's Reeves? Reeves, the little engine that could. That's what I kind of wrote down here. And so I think Reeves has an affinity for playing against Chelsea, because every time we play against Chelsea, he tends to step across the timeline and just shoot the deep threes. I was talking to the Chelsea coaches last week, and we were talking about, and your name came up, and he was just saying how, he said, I hate playing against Broward. And I told my team that little kid will get you, right? Make sure you know where he is at all times. Right? And so we're playing in the tournament, man. We're just struggling to score. And I put in a little engine that could, man. And he steps back here, and I love when he gets and just kind of swings that thing. When he released it, I knew it was good. All right, where's Stacks? So here's one of the things that I know about you, because I hear it around school. I hear it from your teachers and things like that. I want to talk about it in the classroom, first of all. Man, I hear you are awesome in the classroom. I mean, even today, you said I'm jealous. Well, this is actually on Saturday. All right, just hearing from some of your teachers today and just the great things that you're doing. But I think about you, just a great teammate. I've never heard you complain. One of the books I've read is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I read that probably sophomore year in college. And they said that one of the principles of successful people is they never criticize, they never condemn, and they never complain. And I've never heard you say one negative thing about a teammate. I've never heard you complain about playing time. I'm sure, every player wants to play, every player wants to contribute. But man, you were just a great teammate. And I'm looking forward to seeing great things come from you as your confidence grows, your abilities grow, and we're going to have a great time. Where's Thomas? All right, so Thomas, I've had Thomas a lot in a lot of different scenarios this year. I have Thomas in history. I have Thomas in PE. I get to coach Thomas in basketball. I've had Thomas in computers. And so it's been a lot of Thomas. Okay? and I figured that by now one of us would get tired of each other. And so from a just a teacher-student standpoint, I mean, you are a lot of fun to have in the classroom, a lot of fun to teach. And so first of all, that's awesome. So here's the thing. Someone, I think it was Helena's coach, that talked about you, and he was saying how he said, man, your 5 is really a 3 playing a 5. And he said, I love kids that just do what they're asked. That do what they're asked. And so I want to tell you, Coach Curley has come and seen us, and so you're really a 3. All right, you're playing the 5 for us. But I want to tell you, I appreciate you stepping up. and being the big man on campus that we needed you to be, the rebound, the hustling, and just your overall attitude. You're always smiling. He's always smiling, and so it's been awesome to been able to watch you, and I'm looking forward to things to come. So one of my favorite football players is a guy by the name of Jerome Bettis, nicknamed the Bus. There's a guy. He texts me all the time. So when I was coaching college basketball, there's a guy named Tony Toms. Tony Toms, you remind me a lot of Tony. He's a little bit taller than you. He was 6'7", just a little bit taller. But Tony, he was a big fella. Okay, all right, kind of wide and kind of stocky. But Tony, man, he had a lot of grit. You know, I know we throw that word around a lot of times. We throw that word grit around, but Barnabas, I've enjoyed getting to watch him play. I was texting Tony today. He texted me, and every day he texts me, every morning. By the way, Tony Toms was was a good basketball player in high school. He's a Division I basketball player. Gets kicked out of school, and he gets married really young. He gets a divorce. He has kids. He has all kinds of stuff. And I'm coaching college basketball, my second year coaching. I get a call from this guy from Memphis, Tennessee. He drives to Birmingham. He sits down on my couch in my office at the time and begins to tell me his life story, and begins to tell me that my parents have given up on me, and coach, I just need one more shot. I need someone else to believe in me. And I said, Tony, I said, I don't know you from Adam's house, cat. He said, I know that you've walked through some difficult things. Okay? I said, but this is your shot. I said, I'm going to give you every opportunity to be the best version of yourself. And so Tony took that challenge, and so he came in for 2 years. He was the best player. He was Conference Player of the Year. He turned his life around. He's now remarried. He's got kids. He's living in Oklahoma, and he texted me today. And he says every single day, every morning, he texts me, and he says, Coach, thank you for changing my life. He said, Coach, thank you for making a difference in my life. And I said, look, you're the one that did the work. I was just there to believe in you. And Barnabas, I'm going to tell you I believe in you. I want to tell you there's great things in your future. Your heart, your energy, your smile, all that's infectious. Okay? So work like it depends on him, but pray like it depends. Pray like it depends on him and work like it depends on you. Where's Parker? So Parker is, man, I've got so many words for Parker. I can't say all of them right now. But it's been unbelievable year to play Parker. And I don't know, parents, if y'all know this or not, but Parker has played the 3, the 4, and the 5 for us at times. And you know, he's kind of like a porta potty. I hate to use that. That's the I can use right now. He's a porta potty. You ever had to go really bad? Maybe you had a picnic, all right? And you look up and you see a porta potty right there, man. Johnny on the spot, right? So he has been. Maybe that wasn't the best example. He's been right there for us, you know, when we needed him. And from team camp, and he actually played a little bit of 2 for us in team camp. Just a fire. And so getting to know your parents real well, I think a lot of it. I know a lot of who he is comes from you guys. His toughness, his willingness to fight, and just be the person that God has called him to be. So I'm proud of you, man. Thanks for being Thanks for being here. All right. So the next guy is Saxby. Mr. Radford and I was talking about Saxby and homework tonight, and so Saxby actually is contrary to popular belief, he is a really good student. And so I have him in class, and just even today in history, man, we were just kind of talking about inventions, and so he's been dialed in here lately. But you know, he has what I call get up and go, right? And so there are a couple games I'm thinking about where man, we needed a rebound, and we needed someone to block a shot. So here's the thing, you know, we just went out and did whatever we asked you to do. And so I wanted to tell you, number one, it has been a privilege to be able to coach you this year. But number two, just the ability to do whatever I ask, not complaining, your hustle, get on the court for loose balls and those things. And so it's been a whole lot of fun to see that, and I'm really looking forward now as we move into next year, as we continue to grow and get taller and fill out and learn our system better. I really see some great things. So I appreciate it. I also appreciate, man, just the local athletes to get out there and do what we ask you to do. So thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you. All right, Jackson. All right, so sometimes, because I teach so many kids and I coach so many, I don't always know who the parents are. I'm just being honest, and I see all. Sometimes some of y'all look like your kids, but some of you don't. And I got really encouraged when I finally put y'all together tonight. Okay, because I looked at his body and I looked at his eyes, and I think about what you're gonna look like as a sophomore and a junior. Now, you might not be that big. You'll probably never be that good looking. But I think about when you finally grow into what your physical stature. So here's the thing. Your dad and I talked about this over dinner tonight. Coaching this year, you're petty, you're smart. You always know where to be on the floor. And so as you continue to obviously grow and continue to develop confidence, I'm excited to see about what the future is going to hold for you. You know, the thing I talk about a lot of these guys, and it's the same for you, man, is attitude. So attitude is really, really good. Again, I've never seen you complain. I've never seen you hang your head down low, even when things aren't going well. That's the sign of true character. The sign of true character is how you respond when things aren't going well. And so, man, as we move forward to next year, and as we develop, I'm looking forward to you taking a bigger role in helping your team, not only on the court, but continue to put the same attitude, character, effort off the court. All right, where's Will? So Will, Mr. Ladies Man, sorry about that. So this year, I watched Will as a quarterback and how he kind of progressed on the field. And I know that the football season didn't necessarily end as you wanted it to end with a concussion and having to battle through. Whenever a kid, I'm just honest with a kid, I'm always nervous with the whole concussion thing. Whenever a kid has one, then so the first couple of games, I was very, very I was dialed in and watching him. Was he responding okay? And then I realized this is Will. That's who was the concussion. But it was really great to get to know you. And you know, you are. There's a term in sports called a glue guy. I don't know if you've ever heard that expression before, but you are a glue guy. And you're the guy that you'll do things that don't show up in the stacked up, but man, you'll hold the team together. You've been able to galvanize your team. And I think each and every game, you've just gotten better and better and better and better. I felt like early in the season, we were trying to kind of figure it out a little bit, kind of figure out our role, but then once you identified it, man, you got just, by the end of the year, you're definitely one of our top contributors because you figured out your role, and you are a leader. You're not only a leader in the classroom, on the ball field, but so I've seen some things with him in PE. So when they put the PE schedule together, Mr. Sanders was away with his cancer treatment. So I was supposed to only have basketball players in PE. So Mr. Sanders comes back from his cancer treatment. I have all basketball players and like 25 other kids. Okay? And by that time, it was too late to change schedules, and we can't change it. And so we ended up getting a lot of non-athletes in our PE class, which is fine. I just have a lot of kids and I'm trying to watch every day. And so some of the kids, though, they can't catch a ball, right? And there are kids who often will criticize or put them down or say, you suck, or whatever. But Will, I noticed a certain instance this year when he had an opportunity to talk about a kid negatively for his athletic ability. And instead of talking about him negatively, he went to him. You probably don't even remember, but it's the little things that always stick in my mind. He went to him and he was an encourager. And see, you can't, these are things that, you want your kid to be a good athlete, you want your kid to be the best, everything, but I'm going to tell you right now, we want them to be good citizens. We want them to be good Christians. We want them to be good believers, because at the end of the day, only what you do for Christ will last. And I want to tell you, man, I appreciate not just the little things, the little things, having you in computers and having you in PE and being able to coach, man, it's been really, really good. And next year, I'm telling you, it's definitely going to be our bad year, okay? All right, I saved Chase for last for a reason. They always say you save the best for last. Well, I've had an opportunity and the pleasure to coach a lot of Lamies. And I don't think there's any more, right? No more coming, right?
No more.
So this is the last Lamie that I'll get an opportunity to coach. I remember H was in junior high. I remember watching Zach. I remember watching Chase over here in between games, shooting baskets. I remember looking at those kids and said, man, one day those kids are going to be playing for me. And then I blinked, and Zach was in 7th grade. And so Zach's in 7th grade, H is in high school, and all of a sudden I see Chase over here by himself shooting. And all of a sudden, now Chase is here, Zach is gone, H is in high school, and now you're the last of the Mohicans, so to speak, or the last thing. I'll tell you, so it is. I know some of you guys have younger brothers and sisters, older brothers and sisters, and so having to deal with the whole sibling rivalry. But Chase, here's what I want to tell you: the Lord is not calling you to be Hayden. Okay, He's not calling you to be Zach. He's calling you to be the best version of yourself. Okay? Your brother just scored 1,000 points in high school. Okay? That's an awesome accomplishment. Okay? But he's not, and that may be what God is asking you to do. Okay? But if you go to high school and you don't score 1,000 points, you're no less significant than Hayden. You need to be the best version of yourself. Now, there's greatness in your future. There's awesome things that you're going to accomplish. But I want you to try to be the best version of yourself. Not compete with these guys. Okay? When you play against your older brothers, man, yes, they're terrible. You tell them that every time you play. Okay? But I also want you to know that you've got your own gifts. You've got your own talents. You've got your own abilities. And God is going to use you, man, to do great, wonderful things. Remember that what God has given you is His gift to you. And what you do with it is your gift back to Him. So make the very, very best of the gifts and the talents and the abilities that God has given you. And so, as I kind of wrap up tonight, this team, I don't know if y'all probably aware of it, but we were down in just about every game and had to come back in just about every single game. So I would go home and I started calling them the cardiac kids. So I would come home and my wife was like, how was it tonight? Cardiac kids, and I said, if I can just take what we're doing in the third and fourth quarters and start out a game that way, man, I'd be a lot less stressed. So here's the thing. So that up there, the 2015, 2016, yeah, that's my son's junior year. That's my son's 7th grade year. Three of those guys are still playing basketball, either through cut or just gave it up or whatever. Those guys as 7th graders, they won the championship. They went undefeated. They did not like each other. They didn't like each other. They were selfish. Right? I know some of them are selfish here, and that's okay. All right? They didn't care for each other. So 8th grade year, they came back, all right, and struggled to find wins because it went to a situation where it became all about me, all about us. Okay? And it's not about the team anymore. It's about how many points I'm going to score. Practices were not very good. Okay? And so I want to tell you guys, as you transition now from the 7th grade year to your 8th year, guys, y'all all like each other. most important thing that y'all can do is fight for each other. Right? I believe in you, but I need you to believe in yourself. So I'll end with this, and I've shared this before, and I know the ladies have heard me probably tell this story multiple times, and this is how I end. So this week, I've been sharing in class about Martin Luther King. And we all listen to his I Have a Dream speech, and that's his most famous speech. And I don't know if your parents, I don't know if you know this or not, but the day before he did that speech, he actually had some of his, I use the word handler, but his staff around him, and he actually read that speech in his hotel room, and all of them said, "Don't do it, rewrite it, it's not good." And he felt convicted enough that this is what I'm going to do. And so anyway, he does the I Have a Dream speech. And then after he does the I Have a Dream speech, he does a couple more speeches. And then the Sunday before he goes to Memphis to be assassinated, he does the speech where the mountaintop experience speech, where he says, "I've been to the mountaintop, I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you." So he's quoting Moses, when the Lord took Moses to the mountaintop and showed him the promised land. Well, Martin Luther King had a vision of his death, is what people have said. And so he does that speech. The day before he goes to Memphis, he does one more speech that doesn't get a whole lot of play, but I'll tell you about it. See, in 1958, a young Martin Luther King is out doing speaking, and he wrote a book. And so he's actually sitting down at a book signing. And as he's signing this book, a lady walks up to him, a black lady, and she says to him, "Are you Martin Luther King Jr.?" And he didn't even look up. He just said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." And he keeps signing autographs. Well, the lady goes into her pocket and pulls out a knife and stabs him in his chest. Now, he didn't know he'd been stabbed. He said that, he tells the story, and said, "I felt pressure, but I didn't know what it was." And then immediately people started to crowd around me. And he said, that's when I looked down and I saw the blood. And I didn't know what was going to happen, and they immediately rushed me to the emergency room. And they said when they got me to the emergency room, the doctors came in, they took me to emergency surgery, they removed the knife, and so one of the physicians was then interviewed by the media, and the New York Times actually picked this up the next day, and they said that the knife basically almost punctured his main artery that runs through his heart. Okay, and they said if he had sneezed, he would have died. If he had coughed, he would have died. And so while Martin Luther King Jr. is in the hospital, he's getting all these letters. He's getting all these letters about what's happening in New York. He's getting all these letters. He got one from the president, the governor, heads of state from all over the world. And he's reading these letters, and finally he gets tired of reading letters, and he pulls up this one last one. It's going to be his last one he's going to read. And it's from a high school student in White Plains, New York. And she says, "Dear Dr. King, my name is so-and-so. I'm a 9th grade student at the White Plains High School here in New York." And then she says, "Not that it matters, but I'm white." And then she says, "Thank you for everything that you have done for us. And by the way, thank you for not sneezing." And so Martin Luther King holds on to that letter. He carries it everywhere he goes in his briefcase. And the day before he gets assassinated in Memphis, 1968, he pulls that letter out and he reads it. And he shares that story. And then he says these words. He said, "I'm too thankful that I hadn't sneezed. If I'd have sneezed, I would have missed the Civil Rights Act being signed. If I'd have sneezed, I would have missed the March on Washington." And he goes through all these things that he would have missed if he had sneezed. See, about 9 years ago, he was still in utero, okay? And I didn't have a job. And I was a college basketball coach who had lost the job because the school decided to end the program. And I had these portable shot clocks that I carry. I would always have them in my car. And so a friend of mine, about 3 months prior, had called and asked to borrow my shot clocks. And I gave them to him, and I said, "Hey, I need to get these back. They're $1,000 each." And so I loaned him the shot clocks, and then I can't find them for months. So I'm calling them. Now I'm out of work. I'm going to sell these 2 clocks so I can go pay my mortgage. All right, they were $2,000 clocks. And finally, on a Friday afternoon, he calls me back. He says, hey man, I'm so sorry. I do have your clocks. Would you come and meet me at Pelham High School tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock to pick up these clocks? Now I'm living in Trussville. So now I'm frustrated because now I got to get up, burn gas, and drive all the way to Pelham. So I get up and all the way there, I have an attitude. Okay, I am upset. So I go into Pelham High School, and that guy is sitting probably over there. As I walk in, I'm gonna go in. I walk in and I grab my clocks, and I didn't even say anything to him. I grabbed them, and I started to walk out the door. And as I walked out the door, I run into a guy, and he says, "Hey, you're Paul Smith, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, I'm the head basketball coach at Briarwood High School. And I've actually been trying to get a hold of you because someone told me that you might be looking for a job." And so Chris Latch, at that moment, interviews me in the gym, calls the AD and hires me on a Saturday morning in the gym. So 9 years ago, I started Briarwood High School. And so if it wasn't for those darn shot clocks, the Lord had a plan. And see, don't think the fact that you guys are sitting here today doesn't mean the Lord had a plan. So if I could borrow a line from Martin Luther King, he said, if I had sneezed, I would have missed all this. If it wasn't for those shot clocks, right, I would have missed the opportunity, right, to miss your great attitude, your effort, your shooting, your love for the game, your heart, your competitiveness, man, just your toughness, your grit, man, your heart, your attitude, effort, your leadership ability. If it wasn't for those shot clocks, man, I would have missed all of that. And I am so grateful, parents, that I've had this opportunity to be able to meet and work with all these wonderful kids. You know, isn't it unique how God works? That before these kids were even born, the Lord had already put this time aside, that we're going to spend 2 years together. And so next year, we get to do this all over again. And I'm real competitive. I had an email from a coach. Helena's coach emailed me, and I'll end with this. Sorry. Helena's coach emailed me today. And he said, I want to tell you something. He said, your boys compete at a level that I said, how do you get them to play that hard? And I said, you know what? I've got the best kids and the best parents. And I said, when you get those two things working together, it's definitely a win-win situation. So I want to thank you guys again for just believing in me. Thank you for trusting in me to be able to lead your kids. And I am looking forward to next year and the things that are to come. Let's pray. God, we thank you for tonight. We thank you for this opportunity to be able to just gather and to share word. And God, you've given us so many great examples of who you are. And we just pray that we can just walk after you. God, I know that one of these days we'll be done with this, and what we do for you will last. And help us, Father, to just honor you with our words, with our actions, and our deeds. Lord, allow the tongue in our shoe to line up with the tongue in our mouth. Help us not just talk the talk, but help us to walk the walk. God, we ask all these things in your Son's precious name we pray. Amen. Amen. All right. Thank you, guys. Before we get away,